Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 9, text 26. Patraṁ puṣpaṁ phalaṁ toyaṁ yo me bhaktyā prayacchati tadahaṁ bhakty-upahṛtam aśnāmi prayatātmanaḥ. Patraṁ, a leaf. Puṣpaṁ, a flower. Phalaṁ, a fruit. Toyaṁ, water. Yah, whoever. May, unto me. Bhaktyā, with devotion. Prayacchati, offers. Tat, that. Ahaṁ, I. Bhakty-upahṛtam, offered in devotion. Aśnāmi, accept. Prayatātmanaḥ, from one in pure consciousness. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Please repeat. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. So here, I want to point out that in the purport, there is one whole paragraph in the beginning for the intelligent person, starting from there all the way down. It's one big paragraph to the absolute whole, right? After that, it starts, "Here, Lord Krishna." So this has been added, looks like, because the original version of the Bhagavad-gītā, if you see, I'll show you. See, it starts with, "Here, Lord Krishna, having established." But if you see here, you see, "Here, Lord Krishna, having established." But before that, there is like a huge paragraph. I mean, there is nothing wrong in the conclusion of the paragraph, but I don't know why it was added. In the 1972 version of it, it is not there. So, we will read the original version of it. So, which means that after this paragraph. You see, after Srila Prabhupada's physical disappearance, some of the words here and there have been changed in the book, and things like this have been added, which we are not a supporter of. His books should not be edited. Nevertheless, some of the edits he wanted them made, and those edits are fine. But on the whole, those edits really don't change much of the meaning of the philosophy or anything like that. But it's a dangerous precedent, because in the future, if people go on changing, then it's no longer the original book that was written by Srila Prabhupada. So therefore, we start from here. Here, Lord Krishna, having established that He is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what types of sacrifices He desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme Lord in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of God, then one should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. Thus, meat, fish, and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests that a leaf, fruit, flowers, and water be given to him. And he says of this offering, "I will accept it." Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods. In the third chapter, verse 13, Sri Krishna explains that only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of the material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. In other words, their every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature. But preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body, and to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food since he already possesses everything that be, yet he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna. The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad-gītā. To them, it is either a metaphor or proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of the Bhagavad-gītā. But in actuality, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon material nature. And so, in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This point should be emphasized because of his absolute position. His hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that the Supreme Absolute Truth can eat food and enjoy it. This is a very important verse of Bhagavad-gītā, and it ties to one of the fundamental activities, eating, because that is our sustenance. Eating, food, clothing, shelter, basic necessities. And out of all those three, eating is the most. So it is absolutely the most fundamental activity in this material world, at least. So how to do everything in a way that doesn't entangle us? As we see in the purport, Prabhupada explains that for those who do not offer their food to Krishna, with every mouthful, they are deepening their entanglement in this material nature. Even those who are pious or religious think, at least nowadays, think that Prasādam is something which is just to be, little bit put in the mouth, that's it. When you go to the temple, just a little bit, a handful or something like that. And after that, food is different, Prasādam is different. Yes, food is different, Prasādam is different, but actually, what Krishna is saying is, let's go to the verse that was quoted there in the purport, that was referred to. You see in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, verse 13, Yajna shishtashinah santo mucchante sarvakil vishayeh bhunjate te tvagham papa ye pachantyatma karanat. Yajna shishta, of food taken after performance of yajna. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Please observe that in this verse there is no reference to vegetarianism, veganism, or any such movement or classification of foodstuffs. but it is either sacrificial offering or not. That's it. So that should be the framework in judging whether food is acceptable or not. Any food that is offered for sacrifice is Prasādam, sacrifice to Krishna. Now, you may think that, oh, here is not mentioned for Krishna, anybody is okay. But no. That is actually precluded in this verse 3.9, 3rd chapter 9th verse. See, yajñārthāt karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. 3.9. What is that? Yajña arthat karmanah anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah. Now, yajña means done only for the sake of yajña or Vishnu. Now, why is yajña is equated to Vishnu here? Because yajño vai Vishnu. This is the Upanishad's declaration. Yajño vai Vishnu. Yajñeshvara. Bhoktāram yajña tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā also. Chapter 5, text 29. What is that? Or in other 924 also. We have just concluded that verse, a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago. See, ahaṁ hi sarvayajñānām bhokta. Bhokta means enjoyer. I am surely the enjoyer of all sacrifices. You see, yajñānām, sacrifice, bhokta. I am the enjoyer. Bhoktāram yajña tapasam. Again, so 924, 529. There are so many other verses all throughout Vedic literature which say this. So, yajñārthāt karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah. Then you may ask why there are so many yajña performances for other devatas. So, in brief, of course we can go through all the evidence of Shastra regarding that point, but I don't want to digress too much from the subject at hand. So, in brief, the demigods, the devatas, are limbs of the personality of Godhead, or parts and parcels, or representatives in this material world. Just like, to give an example, a government, for example, in Singapore has a prime minister, and he has in his cabinet many ministers who are in charge of different departments of governmental management. This is the same arrangement for the entire universe. The prime minister of everything, of the entire universe, is Krishna, and therefore he is called Jagannath. So he is the owner and prime minister of the entire universe. Not only one universe, there are millions and billions of universes, and he is the owner and prime minister of every one of them. Now, in his cabinet, there are many, many ministers. Now, unlike a human who is a prime minister here, he needs a cabinet of ministers to handle all those different departments. Krishna does not need. Then why does he have a government? There is no need of a government. It comes back to the same question of today's verse. Why does he need to eat? He doesn't need to eat. Then why does he say patraṁ, puṣpaṁ, phalaṁ, toyaṁ? Is he a beggar? That is, like begging fruit. Amma de, like this. No, he's not doing that. He is the creator of all fruits and flowers and leaves and everything. So why does he need to eat? So Krishna does not act on the principle of necessity. We do in this material world. If we don't eat, we die. But Krishna does not operate on that principle of necessity. So when he has servants, he is not in need of service. When he is asking for food, he is not in need of food. Or of when he gives these responsible roles of governmental management in the universe to the devatas, he does not need them. He single-handedly is creating and destroying all the universes at will, just by his breathing. Yasyaika nishvasita kalam athavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadanda natha Vishnur mahansa iha yasya Kalavishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. What is that? Nishvasita. See. This is from the Brahma Samhita. Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds, appearing from the pores of hair of Mahavishnu, remain alive as long as the duration of one exhalation of the latter, Mahavishnu. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whose subjective personality Mahavishnu is the portion of portion. Now, from Mahavishnu, from the, we have pores on our body and we get perspiration from there. But for Krishna, universes come out from his not even from Krishna's body, his expansion, Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu's body, each pore, there are multiple universes that are coming out as he is exhaling. And when he inhales, the universes are absorbed into his body. So the entire existence of the universe is existing as long as only one exhalation of Mahavishnu. And that period, the lifetime of the universe calculated by Vedas is, what is that? 311 trillion 40 billion years. Earth years. That is the time period. 311 40 billion years is one exhalation of Mahavishnu. That is God. So do you think he needs actually a huge army of, like a cabinet of ministers? No, it doesn't need. By breathing, how much attention we put to breathing? We walk, we do so many things, and simultaneously we're breathing. It's like we're not even conscious of it. Krishna can do like that. It doesn't even need to particularly be very attentive. Parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate svabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha. He has multifarious energies which are automatically working. Actually, if you see our own body, we also have multiple systems in our body that are automatically working without my superintendence, personal superintendence. Like my heart is beating. It's not that I'm actually meditating and like moving my heart. No. When you do exercise, your muscles contract or expand. I'm not doing that with the heart. I'm not doing some weightlifting with the heart. No, it is moving. Digestive system, it is working. I'm only putting food in the mouth, but inside the system is working. And the distribution of the nutrients to all parts of the body, the growth of each part of the body, everything is taken care of without our personal superintendence. It's like kind of a mystic power. And when you have an injury, you have a cut, after some time it heals by itself. When you're not stitching it up, of course sometimes stitches are done to hasten the process, but otherwise, even after stitching, the body has to heal. See? So these systems are already working without our personal intervention. Of course, in our case, we don't even know how they are working. We need to study MBBS for 6 years to get a faintest idea of how things are working, to get a general idea. Otherwise, after that, there is specialization of heart surgeon or neurologist or whatever. To understand even one part of the body, hundreds and thousands of years of research is being done. Our own body. We are not aware. But in Krishna's case, his things are also working automatically, but he's completely aware. Abhignya. Abhignya means completely aware. Swarat. And his abhignya, his knowledge is not acquired from somewhere. Swarat. Independent. He's not going to school to learn things. No. So Krishna is so self-sufficient. Why does he need any offering or anybody else to support him or help him? He doesn't need help. So what is the reason behind so many devatas that are there in the universal management? That is because to give them opportunity to serve him. Just like now we are having temple. We are dressing Krishna. We are cooking food for him, bhog. We are conducting festival celebrating his birthday, Janmashtami, which is coming on the 7th of September. Please come, invitation included. So, so we are doing all these things for Krishna. Krishna doesn't need anything. Krishna is not even born. What is Janmashtami? This is a great mystery of how the unborn is actually born. We ourselves are not born. The soul has no birth and death. What to speak of the Paramatma, super soul. He has no birth or death. But he comes here for our benefit. His Janma is for our benefit. So whenever he does something, he includes us in his program, that is for our benefit. It is not that he needs, he is coming here, Krishna is saying he needs patraṁ, puṣpaṁ, phalaṁ, toyaṁ, that means he is hungry maybe, he needs some, like air hostess to serve him food or some waiter. No, Krishna is not coming as a HR to recruit some servants here in the material world, please serve me. No, it isn't it. He is coming here whenever he includes us in his program. He actually doesn't need us. Let's be clear about that. He is completely self-sufficient and he absolutely does not need us. But when he comes here, includes us, gives us a chance to serve him, it is for our benefit. But foolish rascals, they will say, see, Krishna also needs. Therefore they say, oh, Krishna is engaging in illicit affairs. He's so lusty. See, again, lust. When a boy wants a girl or a girl wants a boy, there is something lacking in that person and then he or she covets that thing from the other person. There is a lack. Alone, he is not happy. And that's why they go to the opposite sex. Krishna does not need anything. He is self-sufficient. He does not need anyone to make him happy. And therefore, when he dances with the gopis, he is doing that to purify them, to please them. He pleases his devotees. And whichever relationship the devotee wants to serve God, he will reciprocate accordingly. When Arjuna treated Krishna as a friend, Krishna reciprocated as a perfect friend. When in the Bhagavad-gītā, Arjuna said at the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā, enough of our friendship, now you are my guru. Please teach me the knowledge of self-realization. Then he spoke the Bhagavad-gītā as a perfect guru. When Yashoda Mata wanted to see Krishna as a son, Krishna became her son. And he exhibited as a perfect son. Whichever relationship one wants to love God, he will reciprocate perfectly. And if someone wants to love Krishna as a conjugal lover, he reciprocates. And in conjugal love, there are two, swakiya, parakiya, as husband and wife, or as girlfriend and boyfriend. Now, in this material world, to have a relationship other than marriage between boy and girl is abominable. But where is this relationship coming from? It is coming from Krishna. And originally, Krishna is already in the heart of every single body, even in the gopis' hearts. He is already there. Actually, he is the Lord of everyone. Just like here, there are so many Matajis are there. They are all chanting Hare Krishna. Are they having illicit relation with Krishna? Oh, other than the husband, somebody else, some other male. He is God. So, how can we accuse Krishna, he is dancing with the gopis? So, he does not do anything out of personal want. That's why we should not equate Krishna with our vision, how we behave. And when Krishna behaves, it looks similar, but to judge according to what we experience, that is wrong. Therefore, there is this nice verse. Naivatmana prabhurayam nijalabhapurno manam janada vidusha karuno vrinite yadyajjano bhagavate vidadhitamanam tachatmane pratimukhasya yathamukhasri. Prahlad Maharaj is saying this. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, When something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So when we, instead of looking at the mirror and decorating ourselves, if we decorate Krishna, then we become decorated with devotion. Our real abharana, our real decoration or ornament is our devotion, not external decorations. There is a beautiful verse. The earrings of a devotee are the messages that he hears about Krishna. The decoration of his tongue is that he, speaks only about Krishna. The decoration of his eyes, people put, what is that called? All mascara and eyeshadow and all these all kind of things. So the real decoration of the eyes is that they are always looking at Krishna. So in this way, there is nice verses. There are actually a few verses like that. But exactly that ornament verse, I'm unable to remember. But there are, okay, let's see 1, 2 verses. सावाग्यया तस्य गुणान् गृणीते करौ च तत्कर्म करौ मनश्च स्मरेद्वसन्तं स्थिरजङ्गमेषु शृणोति तत्पुण्यकथाः सकर्णः. Actual speech is that which describes the qualities of the Lord. Real hands are those that work for Him. A true mind is that which always remembers Him, dwelling within everything moving and non-moving, and actual ears are those that listen to sanctifying topics about Him. Okay, next. Shirastu tasyo bhayalingamanamet tadeva yat pashyati tadhi chakshuh angani vishno ratha tajjananam padodakam yani bhajanti nityam. An actual head is one that bows down to the Lord in His manifestations among the moving and non-moving creatures. Real eyes are those that see only the Lord, and actual limbs are those which regularly honor the water that has bathed the Lord's feet or those of His devotees. So, like this, there are a few verses. Let's look at the other verse. What is that? This is said in a negative way, but very nice. Yes. See, 2, 3, 18. See here. बिलेवतोरुक्रमविक्रमान्ये न शृण्वतः कर्णपुटे नरस्य जिह्वा सती दार्दुरिकेव सूता न चोपगायत्युरुगाय गाथाः. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and a tongue like the tongue of a frog. Negative way it is said. So the whole snake hole, when there is, those snake, what is it called? Pit. All snakes only go into those holes, right? So if our ears is like a small hole and all kinds of sounds are entering like snakes, if it is not the topics of the Lord. Because snakes, what they will do? They will bite and kill you. So, actually, these kind of material topics will kill the eternal aspect of the soul and make us rotate in this cycle of birth and death. That's why those ear holes are considered like the holes of snakes. That's why we must fill our ears with Krishna's topics always. Then tongue like the tongue of a frog. Frog has a very long tongue. That does not mean it is very advanced. Oh, it can enjoy more. What is it doing? Eating rubbish, eating some flies and croaking like anything. And when it croaks, what happens? It invites snakes and eats. So we, by croaking all nonsense in this world, we are inviting death, the snake of death. Next verse. Bhārah param patta kirita jushtam apyuttamangam nanamen mukundam shavau karau no kurute saparyam harer lasat kanchana kankanau vam. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead. In other words, the real decoration of the hands is not the bangles, the service, how my hands are engaged in Krishna's service. The real decoration of my head is not a silk turban or a crown. And nowadays, what is the Miss Universe? They put crown. That is not decoration. Decoration means bow down your head. What is that? I'll show you another verse next after this. Okay, go to the next one. So each part of the body is explained like this. Okay, next one. Barhayite te nayane naranam lingani vishnor nanirikshato ye pado nirnam tau druma janma bhajo kshetrani nanu vrajato hareryo. The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of a peacock. Now, peacock plumes means the feather. It has an eye, right? It has an eye. Very beautiful eye. Looks better than our eyes. But no use. Cannot see. Is blind. So, if we don't see Krishna, our eyes are blind. We are blind. There's no use of our eyes. And the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. The legs of the tree, it has one leg. Banyan tree has many. It has legs, but it doesn't move. That's why the tree is called Padapaja. Padapa. Another word for tree in Sanskrit is Padapa. You know what that means? Pada means foot. Pa means panam, drinking. Drinks from the foot. Our eating is through mouth. The tree eats through the foot. Padapa. So, it has leg, but it cannot move. And not only cannot, firmly rooted. The root network is very large. If we move about in this world but don't come to temple to hear about Krishna, then our legs are like tree trunks because we are firmly rooted in this material world and we are expanding our roots. The tree, what it does, it stands. It's not that it's only standing in one place and doing nothing. No. Inside, it is making sure that it will stand forever. Under the ground. What is he doing? He is making sure that it will stand forever. He is expanding his roots like anything. So we, by moving here and there, we are firmly rooted in the material world. We are not going anywhere outside. Real travel means from material world to spiritual world. That is real travel. Otherwise, in this material world, we are firmly rooted. So we are only increasing our roots by our attachments and extending our attachments more and more. Making sure that we don't go out of this material world. One point is that we don't want to get out of this body, we want to be in this body. But another thing is, by our actions, as today's purport says, by every mouthful of our eating, we are expanding our material conditions. Every single mouthful that we are eating. Because why? The food which is not offered to Krishna is sin. By every mouthful of sin, we are expanding our roots in this material world. Now, I think this is the next one. This is Jivan chavo bhagavatāṅ na jātu martyo bhilabheta yastu Shri Vishnu padya manujastu lasya Shvasan chavo yastu na veda gandham. Jivan chava, Jivan but shava. While living he is a dead boy. There is a movie Living Dead. We are all living dead. If we are not Krishna conscious, we are living dead. That means we are ghosts. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. What else is breathing? The harmonium when we play. You push on one side and play, right? What is that pushing? Is letting the air in. And then with the keys, you manipulate the movement of the air, and that's how the sound comes. So that's called the bellows of the harmonium. And in the blacksmith has a bellows. When he wants to blow air, he does that with the bellows. So that is a bellow. That is also breathing. I mean, air is coming in and out. Nothing else more than that. So if we don't use our senses in the service of Krishna, we are at a loss. And ayur harati vaipumsam, just before, few verses before this, is every single moment of our life is wasted. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyannastam chayannasau tasyarte yat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. We like to, romanticize sunrise and sunset. Oh, beautiful. Golden hour, they call it. Photographers who are photographers, they call it golden hour because everything looks flattering in that light. So we romanticize, couples, they go, to beach and, enjoy the sunset going down the horizon or something like this. But what is happening? Robbing our lifetime. We are celebrating. Oh, happy birthday. Today my, 5th birthday, 20th birthday, 50th birthday, 80th birthday. Celebrating. Actually, what is happening? With every sunrise and sunset, our lifetime is being robbed. And we are enjoying it. Celebrating it. Hey, I'm going to die. 50 years closer to death. Come celebrate. Come, let's drink booze. Die faster. This is the that's why in Vedic culture, these events are celebrated by seva. When Ramchandra Bhagavan was born, Dashrath gave charity to the Brahmanas. When Krishna was born, Vasudeva could not do because he was in jail. But in the mind he did. Mentally he offered so much charity. And in the Jata Karma of Krishna, when he was given name and he was, his horoscope was read by, Garga Muni, and so Nanda Maharaj, he gave so much charity. So we can celebrate, yes. But, see, the Western way of celebrating is you cut a cake and then people will gift you. You will receive gifts. Vedic culture is different, opposite. You give charity. Charity to especially the worthy persons who are worthy of charity. There is charity also in the mode of sattvic charity, rajasic charity, tamasic charity also. So we must do not even sattvic, above that, to the Vaishnavas. To contribute to the Krishna consciousness movement, to further the dharma samsthapana program of Krishna. Why does Krishna come? Janmashtami we are going to celebrate. Why does Krishna come? Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma samsthapana arthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Dharma samsthapana. And the movement, the program in our temple is for the propagation of dharma that Krishna has established. We're not here to simply collect some, dakshina and then eat and sleep. That's not our program here. Our program is what? To further the dharma of dharma samsthapan, dharma prachar. So one must contribute for that. So in this way we must utilize our life. So when Krishna says patraṁ, puṣpaṁ, phalaṁ, toyaṁ, yo me bhaktya prayacchati, tadahaṁ bhakty-upahṛtam aśnāmi prayatātmanaḥ. When offered with love and devotion, I accept food in the category of patraṁ, puṣpaṁ, phalaṁ, toyaṁ. Now, just now we have seen the chapter 3, text 13 of Bhagavad-gītā, where Krishna says, anything that is not offered for sacrifice, even if it is vegetarian, is sin. Okay? We are not advocates of vegetarianism. We don't support any of those so-called classifications of food. None of them. I don't know why milk is included in vegetarian, because it doesn't come from vegetable. Vegan means, only vegetables. Vegetarian means milk is also included. What? I don't know. There's no logic to those classifications. And even among vegetables, onion, garlic, mushrooms, these are not consumable by humans. This is not to be consumed, according to Shastra. Tobacco is also vegetarian. Somebody may smoke and say, I'm vegetarian. No? Ganja. Why not? Alcohol, all vegetarian. No? So, not that vegetarian means everything you can do. No, that's rubbish. So, we don't subscribe to this faulty ideas of created by man. We follow the classification of food given by God himself, Krishna. So he says, whatever is offered to me in sacrifice is pure food, everything else is contaminated, full of sin. Even vegetables. That's why this, eating in restaurants and all this is contaminating. Even vegetarian restaurant. Previously Vedic times, those times before now, when people go from, if they have to travel, they usually travel for pilgrimage. Not simply sightseeing. No, they go for pilgrimage. This sightseeing, this tourism and all this is a sign of atheism. Why? Because, it is accepted that, maintaining a family and all this is sometimes, it takes its toll on the people. So, you need a break, fine. But the break should be also spiritualized. Go to pilgrimage and hear from the sadhus, take darshan of all the holy places and come back. And come back in a rejuvenated mood of Krishna consciousness, so that one can again perform one's family duties in Krishna consciousness. That's the whole point. In Mahabharata, Vidura took a break. Because he was with the Kauravas, he was trying to advise Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. They did not listen, they insulted him. He took a break. While the war was going on, Vidura was nowhere to be found. He went pilgrimage and came back after the war. And again chastised Dhritarashtra and asked him to get out of the home. What are you doing shamelessly sitting in home? All your sons are dead. You tried to kill the Pandavas. Now all your sons are dead at their hands, and now you are living at their mercy like a dog in the house. Leave this house. He spoke like this. The exact words he said like this. You can read 1st Canto 13th chapter. He called his brother like that. Why are you living like a dog in this house? Shamelessly. After whole life conspiring against the Pandavas and now living under their maintenance. No shame or what? Leave this house. Before, it is better to leave with dignity rather than being dragged out. So please go out, please. Then Dhritarashtra woke up with the strong words. And then he left. Without telling the Pandavas, he left. Of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj was very compassionate. He was feeling, why did he leave? He should not have left. He was feeling like that. But actually, these strong words are what sadhus should speak. Sometimes it is very painful to hear. But that's actually helped Dhritarashtra at the end of his life. So anyway, he took a break. He went to pilgrimage. That's how things... And there, what happened during that pilgrimage? That conversation is there in the Bhagavatam. He spoke to Maitreya Muni. And many subjects were discussed. And those subjects are recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam. And not only were they recorded, and now we have access to those conversations and we can benefit from them. So this is what needs to be done. Even if we want to take a break, let it be spiritual. Offer that also to Krishna. What did Krishna say? The next verse, 927. Famous verse. Yat karoshi, yad aśnāsi, yad juhoshi, dadāsi yat tapasyasi, kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Yat. See, all yat, whatever. What is that? Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever you austerities you perform, whatever you do basically, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Even if you want to take a holiday, offer that to Krishna. How to offer a holiday to Krishna? Go to a place of pilgrimage where Krishna is remembered. Vrindavan, Mathura, so many. India is full of these holy places where Krishna can be remembered. Go there. And that is pilgrimage. Now you are sitting in pilgrimage. Pilgrimage means where you see Krishna or associate with him in many of the ways. Hearing is the most important. In fact, if you go to a pilgrimage without and don't hear about Krishna, that is going to a pilgrimage like an animal. Saeva gokharaha, the word is used in Sanskrit. You know who spoke this word? Krishna himself. Yat tirtha buddhi salile nakarhi chit janeshu abhigneshu saeva gokharaha. Who goes to a pilgrimage just to take water, a bath in the water, and come back without actually hearing from the sadhus, he is actually behaving like a cow and an ass. That is the exact words. Krishna himself spoke these words. So, Tirtha means where we get purified by association with Krishna. And the most powerful association is hearing and chanting. Because you can go to a temple for 20 years, 40 years, 50 years. But if you're not going to hear these subjects, then you're not going to advance one single bit. You see, it's a colossal waste of time going to a temple like that. So, that is when offered to Krishna, everything becomes purified. So, everything that we do should be offered to Krishna. Now, let's look at some of the. What is the other one? Okay, let's go first to the Bhagavatam. What is that verse number? Yeah, let's go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. 6.278. See here. Yeah. You know, some people say dharma means not religion, it's a way of life. Some Hindus argue like this. Dharma means not religion, it's a way of life. What is the meaning of religion? Can you explain? Religion means a way of life. A way of life ordained by God, not just way of life. Everybody has a way of life. The gangster also has his way of life. The mafia lord also has his way of life. That is dharma. Dharma is not way of life. That is a horrible definition of dharma. Dharma means the way of life ordained by God. And that is the definition of religion. Now, if the English dictionary defines religion as something else, that is a faulty definition. Let us correct the definition of religion, because the religion was not defined by a religionist. He was defined by some linguist. So, since every language, every alphabet is created by God, so everything is meant for understanding God. So, let us actually correct if there is any other meaning, because sometimes religion is defined as a kind of faith. Well, I have faith in the aeroplane, the airlines. When I'm buying a ticket, paying some money. I have full faith in the pilot. I never even saw the pilot. But before flying and after getting down, I never see the pilot. But I'm having full faith and I'm buying ticket also. And I'm telling my other friend on the other side, hey, I'm coming at this time, please pick me up. On what grounds I'm telling? Faith in whom then? Pilot only, no? That is also faith. That is religion? That is not religion. Faith you can change here, there, and that is not religion. Religion means dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. What is ordained by God, Krishna, that is religion. The path of life, and way of life includes eating, right? The most fundamental activity in life is eating. And Krishna is explaining how we should do it. Now let's see. Vishaira anna khaile malin hoy man. Malin man hoyle nahe Krishnera smaran. This is what happens. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. Now, in contrast to this, Chandogya Upanishad says, let's look at this. You see, Chandogya Upanishad, Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhi, Sattva Shuddhau Dhruva Smriti, Smriti Lambhe Sarva Granthinam Vipramoksha. What is that? By performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified. And by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes sanctified or purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified, and when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation, and all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society. All starts with eating. Recently, there was this controversy in ISKCON, right? Of one of the devotees, he made a public statement about Vivekananda, criticizing him. What was that? What is that comment? Oh, because the devotee told in the class that, oh, he eats meat and he smoked ganja. How is it that he is called a Swami? How is he even a spiritualist or a religionist? I don't know how many of you know Vivekananda was eating meat. Do you know? Do not know? He was nicely eating meat. And some people got, upset online, as always people will do. And they retracted the statement, ISKCON. Appalling. In fact, they offered a public apology, saying that, Vivekananda and Ramakrishna were great saints. Now, many Hindus, Indians have this idea. But we don't know from the Shastras. That is our problem. Because we have not read Bhagavad-gītā. Therefore, we do not know actually what is what. He was a meat eater. And his Ramakrishna also. He is no Paramahamsa. Please. So anyway, that's a whole topic for another day. But they are nowhere close to sadhus. Nowhere even close. Okay? But he spoke something. He is good at speaking. He spoke something in the American Parliament of Religions in 1893, and that's how he rose to fame. And repeatedly, not just hiding he ate meat. He openly not only ate meat, but advocated eating meat. When people asked him, should I eat meat? I am having this, dilemma in my head. No, please eat meat. There is an open letter by Vivekananda to one of his disciples. You can see all it in his archives. Please eat meat. We need strength. India needs strength now. Everybody should eat meat. All these sadhus, in fact, he said, all these sadhus, advocating vegetarianism, now they're all weak and, getting all kind of diseases. Whole India is full of diseases because of so-called vegetarianism. And, this is all tamasic. We need to go to sattvic, but from tamasic to sattvic is a leap. So let us go to rajasic first. And then eventually sattvic. So in the rajasic, now we need meat. But actually meat is tamasic. So he got everything upside down. Anyway, that's a whole thing. So ISKCON, and this is why we are running parallel to ISKCON, not actually ISKCON. We're not part of ISKCON because of this. They have introduced so many, unauthorized practices. So they have offered a public apology, writing, oh, some inappropriate comments were made on the dietary preferences of these two sadhus, great saints. Some dietary preferences. Well, Krishna is saying, you eat anything other than my Prasādam, you're eating sin. You go to hell. or dietary preferences. These are all just words to hide the real rubbish that is going on underneath. Yeah. In fact, I would argue that in our Vedic culture, in our Vedic culture, people are classified according to their eating. You know what is Chandal? Chandal means a dog eater. Why? Because here you see, ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smriti. You see, by performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. Now, if we eat, on the contrary, if we eat contaminated foodstuffs, our existence becomes contaminated. So, our eating, and that's why there is this proverb: you are what you eat. You are what you eat, and that's true. What we put inside, that affects our consciousness. So, going back to this verse, you see, Vishaira anna khaile malin hoy man, malin man hoyle nahi Krishna smaran. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated, and when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. So there is a effect. Not only, Western science and nutrition, they say food gives nutrition. Oh, proteins, you eat protein. You can eat, some dal, or also you can eat some meat, all proteins. For them, protein, that's it. Whether you get from vegetarian or non-veg, this is how they classify. This is why it is very dangerous to learn anything from that Western point of view, which is very much dependent on their gross sensory perception. Oh, protein, it's all equal. It's not. There is much more subtle aspects to food which the scientists cannot see. How it affects the consciousness, they cannot understand these things. They just see, okay, this is protein, this is carbohydrates, some measurable metrics and all that. This is how they classify in the food. Oh, if you see any packet nowadays, what is that? Carbohydrates so much, protein so much, this and they write. What is that? Not ingredients. The nutritional, they will put that. That is not how we measure in our Vedic. There's subtle aspects to it, how it affects our consciousness. The cook, when he's cooking, what kind of mentality he's cooking with, that also goes into the food. And this they cannot see. This is more subtle, sukshma. They don't know. They're very, very uneducated actually, the modern scientists. Very illiterate in these aspects, on finer aspects of existence, of a life. So, that's why we have to take advice from our Vedas. Nowadays, India has come up with a Sattvic, stamp? Like halal certification stamp is there, no? So, they wanted, Muslims have, we also should have, Hindus, Sattvic. But the guy who's preparing the food is Rajasic, Tamasic, eating nonsense, everything, and now it is Sattvic stamp. So, just to compete with another religion, you come up with something, just to we also have, not only you, we also have. Okay, that kind of scoring cheap points. We don't want this kind. We have to actually follow the standards. And unless he is a devotee, he is not going to be Prasādam. Period. Now, next. Vishera anna hoy rajas nimantran, dāta bhaktyā duhāra malin hoy man. When one accepts an invitation from a person contaminated by the material mode of passion, the person who offers the food and the person who accepts it are both mentally contaminated. So we can't eat all those, French fries in McDonald's. No, we can't do that. We can't sit in, coffee shop? Starbucks. And similar such things. You can't sit down, you can't even sit down there. Prabhupada once, he was in a train station or airport or something. So there was some delay. So the devotees, they asked Prabhupada, would you like to sit here in this eatery house, in one of the benches for a while? Prabhupada said, no, we can't sit down there. By sitting down there, you just accept all the karma of that place. That is how subtle things are. Because when we if I sit in a place where these things are, all kinds of meat is being, cooked or whatever, then I kind of agree. right? It's like half agreement. Okay, that's good. I can actually sit down here. If you are really principled, you will not stay in a place where something that is against your convictions is being done, right? You will go out of there. What is this? How can this be done? I don't want to be here. Right? Like okay, let's take even a very simple thing. Suppose somebody insulted your family member in a place. So, what kind of place is they don't even like treat. Okay, let me go out from here. It's not that I stay there and you know that is of course out of ego, whatever. But if I have some principles, then if something is not, okay, there's this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. न सभां प्रविशेत् प्राज्ञः सभ्य दोषान् अनुस्मरन् अब्रुवन् विब्रुवन्नज्ञो नरः किल्बिषमश्नुते. A wise person should not enter an assembly if he knows the participants there are committing acts of impropriety. Acts of impropriety means wrongful acts, not to be done. If they are doing something wrong in an assembly, you should not even enter an assembly. And if having entered such an assembly, he fails to speak the truth, speaks falsely, or pleads ignorance, he will certainly incur sin. Just by entering into the assembly and not talking. If you go to the McDonald's, tell them that you are doing wrong. But nobody will accept it, they will put you in jail or call the police, so better don't go there. Or if he pleads ignorance, oh, I don't know, oh, really, they offer meat, you say, oh, I don't know. No, ignorance is no excuse. If he pleads ignorance, also incurs sin. So, you should not even enter such an assembly. So these are I think the other one is here. There are many verses actually on this topic, but yeah. What is 17195, right? Or 1795, is it? Oh, what is it? Okay. No airplanes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is that verse, when the purport is said the food in the airplane should not be eaten in the restaurant. Even in airplane, vegetarian, some cooked food, fruits you can take, offer and take. You see, those cooked food, I thought it was 12,195, isn't it? Or 17,195? Yeah, 12,195? Oh, okay. 12,195. Nityananda Prabhu continued, you are such a monist and now I am eating behind you. I do not know how my mind will be affected in this way. You see, I am eating beside you. Monist means, Mayavadi. Of course, this was a joke between Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu. But the point is valid. So, if somebody is a Mayavadi, Mayavadi means one who thinks that God has no form, nirakar. That is as good as saying God is dead. Because when somebody is dead, he has no form. Right? Form is burnt in the... So, if we are trying to, kill the form of Krishna, we cannot, but when we say some things like that, it is demoniac. Krishna has akar, not akar like us, which is flesh and blood and he has Satchidananda Vigraha, full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. It's a spiritual form, not a material form. But he has a form. Now, Nityananda Prabhu is saying, you are such a monist, Mayavadi, and now I am eating beside you. I do not know how my mind will be affected in this way. This is important. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. By one's association, one develops his desire. If I associate with drunkards, I'll become a drunkard one day. If I associate with smokers, one day I'll become a smoker. If I associate with anything, eventually I will half accept it in my mind and eventually fully accept it in my way of life. So that's why. And even if I don't, I should not even half accept something which is wrong. So One develops his consciousness according to society and association. As Srila Nityananda Prabhu admits, a devotee should be very careful when associating with those who are not devotees. When asked by a household devotee what the behavior of a devotee should be, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Asat Sanga Tyag, E Vaishnava Achar, Stri Sangi Ek Asadhu, Krishna Abhakta Ar. A Vaishnava devotee should simply discard intimate association with non-devotees. And the Upadeshamrita, Sri Rupa Goswami has described the symptoms of intimate relationships in this way. So, what we should not do with a non-devotee? Dadati pratigrhanati guhyam akhyati prayacchati bhungte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. The words bhungte bhojayate indicate that one should eat with devotees. One should carefully avoid eating food offered by non-devotees. Indeed, a devotee should be very strict in not accepting food from a non-devotee. You see, what is that? Should be very strict in not accepting food from a non-devotee, especially food prepared in restaurants or hotels or on airplanes. Srila Nityananda Prabhu's reference in this connection is meant to emphasize that one should avoid eating with Mayavadis and convert Mayavadis like the Sahajiya Vaishnavas who are materially affected. So, now you may think that, hey, this is too restrictive. I don't want to come to this temple anymore. This is too much. I cannot eat here, I cannot go into Starbucks, I cannot go into all these vegetarian restaurants in Little India, I cannot go into airplane and eat there. This is too much. I think enough of Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. No, that's why we are offering Prasādam here. After this you eat. Prabhupada said people may not be able to digest the philosophy. That's why we give them Prasādam. At least they will be able to digest that one. And the other day, we went to a prayer in a house and we had Gita Path and Kirtan. Now, some of the things were kadva, like bitter to swallow. But after that, we gave Prasādam. Very nice Prasādam. How did you make? No onion garlic? How did you make? They almost completely forgot all the pain that they had during the class. So that's why we offer. It's not that everything is restrictive. We have an alternative. We offer if you take out everything, then it's a vacuum. You have to fill it with something positive. Yeah, showing that this is negative, you don't do this, don't do that. But what you should do to fill up that gap then? Yeah, cook nicely and eat. Or if you're lazy to cook, come here and eat. Have Prasādam, Krishna Prasādam. Nice foodstuffs, and also it is purified because offered to Krishna. See? What is that? Now in the spiritual world, now you see those those pictures of Krishna. Here it is not there. With all his friends, eating, and Krishna also steals makhan chor is called, or sometimes laddu gopal. He eats, right? So what is that? So that is spiritual eating, and it is not based on necessity. It's not based on necessity. In the spiritual world, there is also eating, but that eating is not the same as here. That is only to please Krishna. In fact, Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambhrama Sevyamanam. In the spiritual world, everybody, Krishna, in fact, Radharani, Srimati Radharani is so expert cook that she will not cook the same dish twice. Never same dish twice. Everything new variety. So that much variety is there, can be made with our vegetables and milk and all this. There's so much variety that can be done. Of course, Radharani is different level, nowhere close. But at least you can see so much variety is being done by Srimati Radharani without any. And Prasādam, people used to travel before, there was no restaurant business. People used to eat in the temple. Like if you go to Jagannath Puri, for example, you can purchase Prasādam there. And in that way, temple also will get some income. And you can also have nice Prasādam. So travelers, they used to stop at temples. This restaurant business is actually, again, product of atheism, where the food is not connected with the Lord. Somewhere else cooked, whoever cooking, So this is what happens. So last couple of verses before we close. You see, this is how we honor Prasādam. Shushkam paryushitam vapi neetam vadura deshatah prapti matrena bhoktavyam natra kala vicharana. The Bhattacharya said one should eat the Mahaprasadam of the Lord immediately upon receiving it, even though it is dried up, stale, or brought from a distant country. One should consider neither time nor place. न देशनियमस्तत्र न कालनियमस्तथा प्राप्तमन्नं धृतं शिष्टैर्भोक्तव्यं हरिरब्रवीत्. The prasadam of Lord Krishna is to be eaten by gentlemen as soon as it is received. There should be no hesitation. There are no regulative principles concerning time and place. This is the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Where is that verse where demigod prasadam is not to be taken? Yeah. Can you find demigod prasadam not to be taken? Where is that? You know, and there is this is actually our life. See, our life should be molded in this way. Tvayopabhukta sraggandha vaso lankara charchitaha uchishta bhojino dasas tava mayam jayemahi. Uddhava, great devotee of Krishna, he told Krishna like this: simply by decorating ourselves with the garlands, fragrant oils, clothes, and ornaments that you have already enjoyed, and by eating the remnants of your meals, we, your servants, will indeed conquer your illusory energy. Tava mayam jayemahi. So Krishna offers his food, tvayopabhukta. Upabhukta means after he is having enjoyed the thing. Prasadam. So by not only food, but everything prasadam, decorating ourselves with the garlands. For example, these garland was taken from Prabhupada. This is prasadam, Prabhupada prasadam. And oils, morning if you come in the Mangalarti, you can have, the oil they rub, they offer to Krishna and they rub on your hand, you can smell. So that is prasadam oil. And clothes offered to the deity. That's why everything we have to offer to the deity. And ornaments that you have already enjoyed. By eating the remnants of your meals, we, your servants, will indeed conquer your illusory energy. See, yat chakshuresha savita. We should be secondary enjoyers. We should not be primary enjoyers of anything. Secondary enjoyers. And that is our position, but we artificially think we want to be the primary enjoyers. For example, our seeing, our eyes won't work if the eye of the Lord doesn't work. Yat chakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam raja samasta murti rasesha teja. The sun is like the eye of the Lord. And because the sun, shines a light, then we can be able to see. Even if we say, no, sun is set now, I can still see because man has invented electricity. Well, that electricity won't be there if the sun is not there. Yeah? The river system, even if it's hydroelectricity or solar or whatever, coal or whatever, everything starts from sun only. So forget it. If the sun is not there, none of it is going to work. So first the Lord, and then only we can do anything. Secondary. So similarly, if we voluntarily accept that position, now our problem is we don't want to be the second. I want to be the primary enjoyer of everything. That is my problem. So when Krishna says, okay, offer me this, offer me that, it is to purify us. You know what happened, right? In Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, what happened, right? Vidura. He invited Krishna. Actually, Duryodhana also invited Krishna. He offered a huge, lavish feast. Krishna did not take. He went to Vidura's house. And Vidura, out of his ecstasy of love for Krishna, he forgot himself what he was doing and he was peeling the bananas. He was in a small cottage, peeling bananas and throwing the banana and giving the peel to Krishna. And Krishna was eating the peel. Because given by bhakti. Krishna can eat anything. But not that, I am also devotion Prabhu, I am giving peel to Krishna. That is rubbish. The feeling with which Vidura gave and feeling our feeling is rubbish. Our feeling has no value when we are not in that stage. So we cannot imitate such activities. But we can see how much, Krishna accepts just devotion. Got it? Huh? Is that one? In the purport? No, Prabhupada says in one place now. Not related. Never eat leftover food, never eat prasad offered to the goddess Kali or Durga, and do not eat anything contaminated by flesh or fish. Do not eat anything brought or touched by Shudran or anything seen by woman in her menstrual period. Do not drink water by joining your palms. This one is Chandika Annam. So this is one of the demigods. But actually, even any devata. Now even that. Now this is something a little bit not understood by many. But Devata Prasādam also is not to be taken unless it is done in the fashion that is done in Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath Puri, the food is offered to Jagannath first, and after that it is offered to the Devatas, the Lakshmi and other Devatas, and then it comes. That is acceptable because it is Jagannath Prasādam. But those who offer to the Devatas directly, the Devatas themselves don't take that. They only take sacrifice because they are also devotees of Krishna. They don't take anything other than prasadam. So in the offering of sacrifice, Vishnu mantra is chanted first and then the share of the sacrifice is given to the demigod. But in the devatas and the temples also, they don't offer this in this way. They just, offer directly. And they also don't follow the full principles. So therefore, we should not take devata prasadam also. Only Krishna Prasadam. In the purport? Generally, the goddess Kali is offered food containing meat and fish, and therefore Kashyapa Muni strictly forbade his wife to take the remnants of such food. Actually, a Vaishnava is not allowed to take any food offered to the demigods. Yeah. See, this is Vaishnava. Not that we are against demigods. We respect the demigods because they are great servants of Vishnu. But the unauthorized worship of the demigod worship is not to be taken by Vaishnavas. Of course, it is authorized in the Vedic literature. But that is for those people who are in the lower standards of life. Vaishnava is the highest standard of life. The demigod worship is eventually to get you to the point of Krishna worship. That's why Krishna finally says, Sarva dharman parityajya. He is saying in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā, dharma samsthapanarthaya, for establishing principle of religion, right? But then in the end of Bhagavad-gītā, he is saying, Sarva dharman parityajya. All dharma give up. Parityajya. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Ahaṁ toyaṁ sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami. Ma shuchaham. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Okay? Finally, he asks, Mam ekam sharanam vraja. The ekam means exclusively me, not anybody else also. So that is proper understanding. He himself says, abandon all varieties, all kind of dharma give up. Oh, my kula devata, my kula dharma. No, give up. All the kula dharma is supposed to get you to the Bhagavad dharma. If we forget that and stay stuck in the lower standard of dharma without coming to the higher principle, then we are actually not understanding its real aim. So this is the ultimate aim of Bhagavad-gītā, and we can easily accept this in Kali Yuga. There's no need of following step by step. We can directly take to this, and eventually are absolved of all offenses to any devatas, anything. In fact, the devatas will be more happy if you eat Krishna Prasadam and offer Krishna. This is what they want also ultimately. So anyway, I'll stop it here. Any questions or comments we can discuss upstairs because it's quite late now. So, Srimad Bhagavad-gītā ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna.